We've got one more series for you tonight, and it's going to be a big one. The rematch from CWL London Grand Finals, 100 Thieves versus eUnited. I'm your host, Katie Bedford, joined by Nameless to Study and Pac-Man. You can see it up on your screen. A quick reminder that CWL Anaheim is right around the corner. The Mountain Dew Game Fuel Open bracket has a lot of teams participating. I think it's going to be bigger than it's ever been, so we can't wait. But, of course, we need to get into talking about this matchup because it is sure to be competitive. Both teams are looking hot. Both teams are trying to keep their win streak alive. So something that I want to ask you guys all first is, who do you think is going to win? Pac-Man, 100 Thieves, or eUnited?
I put it on Twitter earlier, so I have to go with eUnited. I think they're due. And 100 Thieves did go undefeated last week, but there were some sloppy games in there, so I'm just going eUnited on this one.
And Rowan agreed with you. eUnited get it in 5. I'm just full aboard the Simp on RCD's train tonight.
Yeah. They could easily take over.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly true. I mean, if Simp plays like he did in London, although we know that that's hard to keep up. Yeah, that's hard to be that hot all the time. Let's pull up our next tweet and see what they have to say. And that's going to be from Brad. Thieves to win 3-1, eUnited to win the S&D.
That's the safe pick, Brad.
Yeah, I'm going 100 Thieves.
Shot just tweaked right now. Guys having an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Oh, the bandana's coming out of Kenny. You on that? So it's back in full form.
All right, we've got an eUnited, we've got 100 Thieves, so let's see what the last person on Twitter had to say, and that is going to be from Andrew. I got to give it to eUnited in this one. I think it's going to come down to the SOG duo, and in my opinion, eUnited has a better SOG duo. Ooh. You guys agree?
I think I do.
I think I do, too. I feel like eUnited has the best SOG duo in the game.
I agree. I would agree.
Compared to all teams.
It's pretty close in the respawns. I guess if you combine S&D, then you have to give it to eUnited.
I mean, they're just so good at search.
Those two guys are just amazing search players.
And they feed off each other so well.
Right.
Like, they're just 1 and 2 in aggression. Like, on this team, Simp has so many weapons. You pull out that sniper and just take over search.
The problem is, as good as the SOG duo is, 100 Thieves has that big of an edge in the Maddox duo conversation. Like, Kenny and Slasher are, right now, maybe the best Maddox duo. Actually, definitely the Maddox duo. Maybe Dashy and Krim. And then their search can be on and off. So it's up to that game mode. I don't know. This is just a tough match. It's a tough matchup for United for sure.
I mean, like 100 Thieves played them the last tournament twice. They didn't lose a respawn to these guys, and they played them on Gridlock twice. It was 3-0 both times. So I'd be very surprised if we see Gridlock in this series. And I spoke with Clay outside this morning, and he was just talking about if he steps up versus these guys, him and Pristini, if they both step up versus these guys, they should be able to beat them. He said they're a very tough team to beat. Like, there's not many teams like 100 Thieves, and you know, they don't make many mistakes. And he was like, you have to be perfect against them. So in this series, look for Clay and Pristini to step it up big time because that's what they think is going to give them the edge over 100 Thieves.
Well, yeah, and again, taking a look at 100 Thieves, pulling up that team card here, I mean, they still have that crazy hardpoint stat of 37-7. It's 84.1% win rate.
That's unreal. That's just unreal.
I mean, that's just, you've talked about the Maddox duel, and you also, I mean, Octane, look at his stats, impressive as always. I mean, this is going to be two behemoths really clashing again, but I wonder, though, kind of, yes, 100 Thieves feeling good. They got all their wins last week. They won London, but at the same time, I imagine that eUnited is going to have that fire to want to come back and win and knock them down a peg.
I mean, absolutely. They've been getting better and better, and even their search game has been looking like even better at times. Like, Clayster's had some crazy maps as of late. Is that stat? What is he went positive 11 out of 11 of the last search and destroys these guys have played. So you know, they're just kind of becoming the ultimate form of their team. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they came out and won this series.
When we talked about RCDs, I believe last week again in our Astro MVP speculation, how he's been doing so great for his team, but something actually, Nameless, that you were talking about before we got into this series, do you think there's going to be any implications for the rest of the week for whichever team wins this? Will you think they'll go flawless the rest of the week? Maybe not. Like,
I think whoever wins this will probably go flawless, right? Like, both these teams they're incredible teams. It's their toughest matchup, and I think they're pretty ahead against the rest of the teams in this division. So yeah, I do think that whoever wins this will go flawless. And on the flip side of that, whoever loses this, I think they'll be fine too. I think they'll win the rest of their matches as well.
It's just whoever wins this is going to be in first place or going to be in driver's seat to get that first overall seed out of this division, at least going forward to Anaheim and playoffs. And
confidence, right? Like, if eUnited win this, because I know a lot of people are going like 100 Thieves are the best team in the game. And then there's still those doubters who are like Optic Gaming's #2, right? Like, there's still those people that think that has to, you know, kill your morale a little bit if you're eUnited. You're like, we're #2. We just got second. We're a great team. We're in #1 in our division. So, like, eUnited want to win this just for, like, that fan support as well as to believe in themselves that they can win a tournament and beat that best team.
Yep. Well, we'll see if they can do it, but we are ready to get into the London rematch, 100 Thieves versus eUnited with Merc and Maven.
Thank you so much, and yes, we have narratives galore. The #1 team versus the #2 team in the division. The best SOG duo versus the best Maddox duo.
Yep.
The best search team versus the best hardpoint team. Like, you can go on and on about the matchups that are within this best-of-5 between 100 Thieves and eUnited, and I'm just excited. This should be a fun one, Joe.
Yeah, it absolutely should. I mean, I really liked what Nameless is talking about confidence going into an open event. For 100 Thieves, they beat eUnited before, right? I think Sunday at Anaheim, if they matched in the grand final, 100 Thieves would be very confident, no matter what happens today. For eUnited, it's a little bit different. We haven't beaten these guys yet. We haven't been able to really get over that hump. If they do it here, I know it's just a Pro League match, but that gives them the confidence going into a tournament, right? Saying, we can do this. We absolutely can.
I'm almost feeling, you don't want to lose, but I almost want to see them get closer, and then that match they overcome it is at Anaheim if they match up.
Well, that just reminds me of Denial Optic AW champs. Before champs, there was 3 events in a row where Denial and Optic played. Optic always beat them. Champs happens when it's round 1, right? NV Optic, it's a thing.
It's a thing in esports. It's a thing in sports. It's hard to beat a team 3 or 4 times in a row because the team that is trying harder typically to improve is the one behind. It's like when you have brothers, it's the younger brother that a lot of times ends up being better. They want to outshow the other. You want to get better than the competition, and I feel like they're so close to getting over that hump. I just don't know if it happens here or if we see it at Anaheim. But regardless, I'm looking forward to this one.
I think if there was a place, it would happen here, right? I just feel like eUnited wants to prove that point where 100 Thieves, they both come off 3-0 weeks, but I think the only thing for 100 Thieves, as the desk said, they're fighting for the #1 seed. So right now, eUnited has #1 because in their previous matchup, they beat 100 Thieves. That's where that tiebreaker is. Obviously, they could lose down the line to a different team this week and, get second place. But right now, this could decide first and second if they go flawless.
And how big is that to you heading into Anaheim?
A lot of teams are putting emphasis on it, right? I think just for the veto process, sort of those mental games come into it. I mean, Optic really touched on it. That was a big goal for them. So they obviously learned something at London that they wanted to change, and I think these other 2 teams are trying to keep hold of that #1 seed.
I'm excited to see what the actual best-of-5 is going to be based on the vetoes, because if you look back at London, they played in winners round 1, they played in the grand final. Map 1 of both was Hacienda Hardpoint, which was I think it was a 250, 238, a 250, 170 type game.
It was a 9-point game in winners round 1, and then in the
250,
grand
241?
final.
Okay.
Yeah, in the grand final, it was different.
It was 80-point win, something like that. And then they played Gridlock, control both times. eUnited wasn't able to take a single round. So as much as we're talking about search and destroy and hardpoint, how one team's the best at that, one team's the best at the other, is the control maybe the most important to you if eUnited can actually get a win there?
I think so. I think it is important, but I think we know 100 Thieves has been improving in search. Again, I think it is very hard to always guarantee 2 searches. It just is to me. It's such a tough game mode. Teams are going to make adjustments. It's so hard to always win 2. It just is, because there's a lot of different mind games on the map. There's a lot of things that can go right and wrong.
Another question for you, kind of about search and destroy. We talked to Crowder, to the guys, how much time they've been putting into trying to improve in that game mode. Last week, it was kind of hard to tell just based on their matchups. Do you think walking away from this matchup, considering it's against the best search team, you'll have a better grasp of where 100 Thieves are in that mode?
Yeah, I think so. I think eUnited's really going to put them to the test because they're the #1 team, but also a lot of the times, it just seemed like 100 Thieves last week got down early in the search and destroys and then started to make a comeback, right? So can they make those improvements early in those rounds, not go down a big deficit? And really, to me, it just came down to their decision making, right? When they were together, they were making plays. It seemed like that when they were getting separate, the First Bloods weren't going their way. That's when it got a little bit too chaotic for 100 Thieves.
Well, these 2 teams, they're 2 of our favorites heading into Anaheim. I think you have these 2 and probably Optic. I think if you're talking about teams with a realistic chance, a favorite to actually win the event. So I'm hoping this is everything we want it to be, because at times, eUnited has gone up against the big dog and got smoked, whether it was 100 Thieves like we saw at London or if it was Optic back at Vegas. And I think the guy's really looking to step it up, who is taking it on himself personally, has got to be Clay. He had, something around a 0.7, I believe, in the grand final at London?
Yeah, 0.71. And again, I think we just touch on that Maddox duo. We talked about it on Training Shots. When it comes to those top teams, that Maddox duo, it might be some of the weaker in the league. It has to be. You have so much power in your SOGs and your ICR. You need someone to step up Maddox-wise, and I'm just talking about slaying. Like, the slaying has to be more consistent.
But I feel like with a role like the Maddox, you can just talk about slaying in a way. Like, that's your job in that particular role. But here we go. It's going to be Gridlock, hardpoint to kick things off. Priesta's POV in the hardpoint. In comes the slide. It's Clayster that's able to get one before he drops, but the battle will continue at top mid.
Yeah, both teams playing pretty patient right now, but 100 Thieves trying to set up the pinch. As Enable, he went top overpass. Slasher's trying to work the hole in the wall, and it goes all the way of eUnited. And now you have an opportunity to set up for the first and second hill for eUnited.
And we casted this, I believe it was 100 Thieves versus Denial last week. And you and I casted this particular map. And remember, Denial kept it really scrappy early. They were able to keep 100 Thieves out of the early setups throughout the course of, like, till the mid-game. But once 100 Thieves got set up, once they started to lock it down, they absolutely ran away with the game.
Well, it was the decision-making, right, from 100 Thieves, that early rotation or when to push that scrap time. But the one hill that sticks out to me is they did dominate the first one, right? It was like 100-10 on that first hill. So eUnited, they find the first 17 seconds, and they rotate for number 2. Number 9 spawns out. That's going to be a BZ, so he's across the map. But this can help them if they lock down this push. But it looks like Slasher is looking for him right off the spawn. And that's going to be 2 dead for eUnited. Here comes the push out of 100 Thieves.
And you can see how far out eUnited are responding. You had Enable so far pushed out mid-map. That was their only option, was complete opposite side of the spectrum. And now 100 Thieves are in. Enable doing what damage you can on the flank, but the Sog's going to get away with him there. He'll end up dropping, and there you go. eUnited answer with 3 kills of their own. The 4th will drop. Kenny, the last man up in the back. His teammates a bit of a staggered spawn. His 3 spawn close, 1 spawns out, and they'll try to get back into the mix, but this is their final opportunity to hit, as there's just 20 seconds remaining in the hard point.
Yeah, I love the map awareness on that rotation from Slasher. Realized the situation, knew a BZ would spawn out behind him. It needed to be a little bit better hold, I think, on both sides, both for 100 Thieves. When you break that early, you should be able to lock them down. But for eUnited, if you're going to give up the final 20 seconds, really put a lot of resources in that rotation, you have to be able to lock down. That's going to be the way that you really separate yourselves from 100 Thieves. Instead, it's a bit of a 5-point lead, but you have control of this 3rd hill.
Well, now the focus to 3rd, and this will be the first full 5-man hit from 100 Thieves. So far, the trades were in eUnited's favor, but as Octane gets into the mix, a chance for 100 Thieves to get in, but the last player will drop. 9 and 6. BZ and Simp still standing. The Tiny Tears alive and well on the hard point, and they'll be set up to do damage on the rotation and from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Priest is going to fly on in. He's able to find 2, and here comes that 5-man push. Pristini, though, he's going to try to go on a pinch. I thought maybe he was going to influence spawns for the next Broken Hill. Not going to happen, but he continues. He's 8 and 5. On a 3 spree right now, just trying to stay up. And you see the spawn outs come in. So a BZ and Simp push on through. That's your teammate, Pristini, but it's all good because you're going to find the rest of the kills. But now they have to be a little bit careful because Enable was able to win one-on-one, and he stays alive towards that broken building. And now for 100 Thieves, somehow you hang on to the spawns. You just have to really thwart off this first push. Could be a lot of big time for 100 Thieves.
Well, the fact Kenny gets the opening pick, he turns it into a 3-on-3 as we head over towards office. But now Pristini's made things interesting. He wins a gunfight at the front. He'll be able to get in. The next gunfight will be Enable, and he's able to take that as well. So we've talked a lot about the Maddox matchup. Clay starting slow, but Pristini, he's a big part of why they've been able to find success. And then the other end, Kenny's got a slow start at 4 and 9. So you feel pretty good if you're eUnited in that particular matchup right now.
This is my word, though, because we've seen spurts of the moment like this from Pristini. For one half of the game, he has a great game putting it together, and then the second half just sort of falls off. So watch Pristini, can see how if he continues to develop at this pace, or does he slow down. But yeah, you know, Kenny, he's really just been a difference maker for 100 Thieves. I think there was a tweet last week where, like, when he's positive, they win like 95% of their respawns. And Enable was just like, dude, just go positive all the time.
Well, as good as he's been, it's been Simp leading the way at 14 and 7. What an unreal talent he has been. And with that, we'll throw right into an Astro Gaming listen-in with the eUnited.
All right, yeah, pick up right.
I got one hitting right.
Hold on.
I got it.
Another here, another one here.
I got you over in hill.
In hill, Kenny, one shot.
Okay. Top
broken.
Pram it out,
Take out flank.
Top broken, weak,
Bottom bridge.
He's on hill, I need help.
He needs help.
Reloading.
All right, where are you? Right.
Austin,
Dojo
Dojo
dead.
To my left.
Pick up pull.
Just let me
I got it.
Top hill. One shot, hit we can do.
Yo, hold.
Got me hole.
Where you know?
Trying to
There's one I should stay left.
Push it
He's
through.
grappling high. I spawned behind him.
I have top bridge.
Yeah, we
top bridge dead. Top
Yo,
bridge dead.
stay alive. We can pitch. Yeah, like, what's gonna be here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna push out.
I'm letting you look for him.
One's hole, I'm pretty sure.
He's here. Dead.
Back left.
We're looking for him on older pitch.
Yeah, Octane weak.
Dead.
Nice, good up. Good trade.
Try and stay cafe if you can.
Ice cream, watch out. Ice cream,
Yo,
watch out.
say Austin
They're
on
new,
new.
they're new.
Austin in new.
Austin
isn't sushi.
There's one of that. There's one hole. I'm gonna look left. I'm looking left.
Austin sushi. One's back 18. Back 18.
I'm looking left right now.
Back 18 dead.
Left. Ian dead. left.
Let's go.
Three
Three
guys.
Middle. I got one middle.
4-4.
Could be hate.
Could be left.
Back left.
Check.
Could be back
Green card.
That's
Car. All right,
I'm gonna go pitch. I'm gonna go pitch.
Yeah, I'm getting time.
I got it, Alec. You're good. Help the back. Help the back.
Middle. One shot.
Go on your right.
Yo,
Go, front. I need help.
Slasher under bridge. Slasher under
I'm
bridge.
looking
Yeah.
at sushi. I'm looking at sushi.
They're front. They're sliding.
Posted.
I'm pillar. I
I got
spawn rock.
Taylor, we can 118. Get 18, guys.
I'm trying.
Coming through post.
Get back 18.
I got one in hill. I got one in
18. One shot. 18 weak.
Enable. It's enable.
Inside of sushi.
I'm coming back.
Nice,
That hill.
Oh no, two front of hill.
Austin dead.
The hill. I got time.
I got under bridge. I have under bridge.
Sushi, I think.
Two.
Front, one shot. Nice. Fighting with you guys.
Kenny in there, guys.
Yeah, Kenny, kill me.
They're fighting.
Nice. One more.
I'm finding this.
Sliding on you. Two on me.
Shot.
Slasher weak. Slasher
I
no
have
sim. Bind
vision.
pillars.
Make sure you flag.
You got me.
They're gonna have fucking.
Needed their door.
They're gonna have it. They're
Got
gonna
one,
use
two.
it on one end.
Good job,
Nice
got it.
shot.
Clear life.
Nice guys. They're gonna
Running
use
front.
everything here.
Yep.
Bind you so. Bind you. Trust me.
Good job.
Nice.
Holding
I
closet.
have time.
Holding
Turn around.
closet.
I'm popping more.
Have a nice year.
Already sinks, man. Sinks.
Shock.
Tippest out for Arcitys. What can he get done? 40-point advantage. They're going to call on the War Machine as well. A lot of heavy hitters coming in from the specialist standpoint, and a time and a chance to push out this lead if they can connect on the shots. So far, so good for United.
Simp having such a big play on that rotation, but a very similar story for 100 Thieves. It's Arcitys, he's going to be able to find 3. Now 125 away from streets, but we saw this last week with Denial. Their hills 2 and 3, very late on these rotations, and we've seen it here twice, where they're always trying to have to fight the setups of eUnited. Yes, they can break it, but you know eUnited's going to get hold, and they're getting one right now.
Maybe one good thing for them is Arcitys will drop just short of streak, so no additional tools to maybe use top mid. They are going to end up spawning out. That's going to be 2 players, 3 players all the way out. The lone man to deal with this rotation will be Slasher. He's going to get set up top, but he has a ton of work to do, able to take the first one.
Yeah, he did spot one, just trying to stay alive, wait for his reinforcements. Enables going all the way on the flank. Slasher, he's gonna pop the War Machine, able to connect with one, but Simp was up top, 24 and 14 out of Simp on another 4 spree in that grand final against 100 Thieves. Had a 1.45 overall KD against 100 Thieves. Like, that's such an impressive performance. I think if it's like a 4v4 and you have a teammate going 1.45, that's probably a championship.
I think there was questions when Cap was on the team if they had the slaying power to rival the top teams, and it seems like Simp can be the equalizer, as he's now on a 5 streak, 200 off streaks. Can he earn them? eUnited just about to eclipse the 200-point mark. The lead now pushed out to 80+ streaks for Simp. There's the first one with a lightning strike. 75 more for the Hellstorm.
And that's huge for that first hill, and they have 100 Thieves just trapped towards this backside. You see Clayster, he's watching the pinch if it's coming through, but it's not. 100 Thieves are fighting for the scrap time, and that's been the theme for 100 Thieves, just fighting scrap time, being very late on the rotations. This is not typical of what we are expected for 100 Thieves in their respawns. I mean, we talked about how good they've been in it, but right now it just seems like they're being a little bit lazy.
Is it something with this map?
Yeah, because we saw last week with Denial, right? Just, I don't know, hills 2 and 3, super late on rotations for 100 Thieves. I don't know if that's their play style, if they're confident enough that they can break those hills, no problem.
Well, it might work against Denial. It's not going to work against eUnited.
You're seeing what can happen against a good team when they lock down these hills.
Simp, 3 more with the lightning. He is 30 and 17. And Octane, who's really been the thorn in the side of eUnited, he's been sensational against this lineup. Sitting right around even. He hasn't been able to take over the game. Not that it's a bad stat line, but not maybe what you would expect from him, especially in this type of matchup. Arcitys leading the way in that ICR battle. 3 go down for 100 Thieves. 14 more points needed for eUnited. They get the time. They have the rotation. Once again to second, 100 Thieves battling on the back foot.
Yeah, and again, we talked about to watch Pristina. He's kept it up. 29 and 20 for him. Has stayed with Simp. Placer's going to find a couple of kills. A BZ Simp, they're going to clean it on up. And eUnited wipe the floor with 100 Thieves in map number 1. We
talked so much about the Maddox matchup. Clay wasn't able to dominate, but Priesta went huge, and Kenny did not have a good game one. Kenny is absolutely going to have to rebound in this series, but what?
Pristini, right? Not Priesta, right? Pristini?
Oh, Pristini.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pristini, Priesta.
I was like, I mean, yeah, Priesta played well, but I don't know if anyone played that well.
No, but he played great, and on the other end, yeah, Kenny really, really struggled. So I'm curious to see who's going to be able to maybe step it up over the course of the series. But was there anything that really surprised you from that map one?
I mean, we talk about how dominant of a respawn team 100 Thieves is, and we saw glimpses of this last week where they had a lot of close games. They had a lot of close games where, you know, they had to really just find their clutch factor, which they have. Like 100 Thieves, they believe in themselves. They're on top of the world, but they're letting things get away from them. It seems like they're stepping away from fundamentals a little bit.
Is this a series loss that could be a good thing for 100 Thieves?
Yes, it is a wake-up call a little bit, or keep you in check, right? Keep those that motivation high to continue to improve.
Because Octane, you know, Crowder, they were saying they're not really having any problems with that. You know, when you have somebody with the determination of like a slasher, you don't need to worry about it. But you can say all those things, you can think all those things, but maybe sometimes you just need a refresher when it comes to the gameplay to know that you're not unbeatable, especially where it comes to the respawns where you've been absolutely and utterly dominant. But this one, dominated by eUnited. Map one goes to them, but Jess did have a chance to speak with the squads before the match. Let's hear her thoughts.
Thank you, Clint. That's right. And so I spoke with Clayster, and the conversation was kind of around 100 Thieves, and he was saying things to me like 100 Thieves don't make mistakes, and you can't make mistakes versus them. They'll punish you for that. So I asked him, I said, well, you know, you don't seem nervous, of course, but you're saying things like 100 Thieves don't make mistakes. So are you guys intimidated at all? And he kind of chuckled and said, of course not. But he did say this match is going to come down to who makes more mistakes. And he said there's probably only going to be like one mistake the whole series. Over on the side of 100 Thieves, I did catch up with Octane, and he was just so focused into the game. And I asked him, well, you know, you guys beat them at London. Are you going to do it again? Are you going to win? And he said, yes, because we have to. They're still looking for that #1 seed, and they really want it. So we'll see what happens. Clint and Joe, back over to you guys.
It proved that they were able to take a respawn. Now the search and destroy, because this is one, if you pick something that was the most heavily favored, it might have been the search when it goes to United with how good they've been recently. How are 100 Thieves going to beat them if they're going to get it done?
I mean, maybe it's just one of those matches where, like, we talk about vetoes a lot, and, like, your map pick goes the way of one team, the other map pick, but this is focusing on those game modes. And a lot of the times for United, probably their sole focus is on those respawns, taking that away where they can get away from the S&D game a little bit, right? And the same story for 100 Thieves where, once again, you know, you're focusing so much on taking that search and destroy away from United. All your hard counters, your focus goes into that where respawns need away from you. But Payload, I mean, again, I feel like really the story of last week in Search and Destroy was First Blood. It's like, how many series did we cast where whoever got that First Blood found the round?
And this is another map I believe we saw in the Denial series for 100 Thieves where they were a little lackluster. Yeah, like you look to see a lot of improvements. Don't think you saw a ton. So maybe just seeing some flaws, showing that, you know, this isn't quite the perfect team. Still, maybe I still think they're the favorite going in to Anaheim, but seeing some of the vulnerabilities now, and this is where you need to work on them here in the Pro League. Map 2, Payload, offense first to eUnited. As we'll take a look at the mini-map and see the split. 5-man hit towards A. You've got Kenny watching out around the defensive end. Sitting on the back box will be Slasher.
Kenny with this ICR, we know he loves to run a second or third ICR, just depending on the map. Bombs are to be planted. 5 versus 5. Priesta. Slasher trying to work the flank. Slasher trying to watch this back elbow, waiting for the eUnited push. Octane with the sniper rifle. And while Slasher's gonna find First Blood.
And he has been hitting some shots as of late with that sniper rifle. He is absolutely nuts. They need to get in for the trade. They're able to do just that. 3v1 advantage. One player remaining. It's Clayster. He gets 2. This could be a 1v3. It's him versus Enable. Under 20 seconds now on the clock. And Enable's got to hunt him down. Just got eyes on him. He's got to go for the kill, get back for the defuse. Great job from Clayster, just bobbing and weaving around the edge. Not enough time for the defuse. A great play from Clay to clutch up. Big 1v3.
It absolutely was, but really just time was the biggest factor, right? Enable doesn't have time to hunt him down. He's able to play the clock so well.
Clay doesn't get those 2 kills out, or I mean, that's not even the conversation. Like, he came up with 2 huge ones.
Yeah, I mean, they just lined up for him. Right? The trades were going on around that window. Clayster, right spot, right time. A beautiful first round for United. And again, Slasher finds that first blood. So, you know, this is where Clay was able to find those 3. Good stuff for him.
Not the most stellar map won, but his impact absolutely made known in the first round of the search and destroy. So eUnited will strike first. How do 100 Thieves answer back? As they'll now shift over to offense. For eUnited, it was a full hit into lab. What does 100 Thieves opt to do? It looks like they're going to take the action to B. So defensively, it'll be a BZ and Simp early on. Simp's got out the big stick. Slasher with another first blood. That's back-to-back for him.
And that's towards the middle of the map. You had 3 players from 100 Thieves inside. Slasher's able to find another one. There is the trade.
You'll take that.
But Slasher does his job, and he forces the rotation towards this A side. B is free. 100 Thieves have all the positioning in the world.
And now if you're Simp, how do you find an opening with no position? He had a chance. Not an easy one as Priesta was hitting the cross, but an opportunity.
He's going to get his cluster here soon. I mean, you have a lot of players stacked up on 100 Thieves, all towards this one side. See what he can find. I think he's trying to wrap back, just trying to wait for the cluster. There it is. Is he going to use it on this round, though, to try to retake? So tough, and now you have 20 seconds to work with as well.
He slides in with the Strife, can't finish the kill. 3v2 edge, still to 100 Thieves. A BZ through the heel, even a big play, but now it's down to a 1v1. 12 seconds to go. Clayster versus Priesta.
It's the same story as last round, right? I mean, bomb gets planted. You have that 5 versus 4 situation. This time, though, 100 Thieves, they had the bomb planted. The clock was against eUnited.
Well, back-to-back first bloods for 100 Thieves. This one, they're able to turn into the round win. We'll take a look at the best play from Priesta, as he's just trying to finesse towards the heaven steps. Takes out a couple of weak players. And a good job playing his life. But I want to see, can we start maybe with Slasher's POV in this, just since he's been the one kind of finding the early action. See if he can maybe find another first blood. Just give the viewers at home an eye on what he's doing early on Payload.
Yeah, we saw last defense, he played towards this outskirt. On the offense, he played around the trap around that middle tunnel. Looks like he's going to get a little bit more aggressive this time, watching that cross. They don't want the bomb to get planted. So a bit of adjustment right here from 100 Thieves. Middle's being covered by Priesta. Able to win that first one. Kenny hits a snipe.
Yeah, so first blood stolen from him. He got it just an instant after, but...
We'll give him 3, right?
Yeah.
That was a tie.
Yeah, we'll give it to him. 3 in a row for Slasher. 3 in a row for 100 Thieves. A big 5v3 edge. Simp gets legged. He'll get away. But a tough task ahead of them with 45 seconds to go. Bomb down. You can see right outside of that A site. And just what seems to be no opening in the world for eUnited.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically trapped. You have Priesta who's watching the plat. Abizi does find one, though. Kenny gets pushed up with the stripe. Abizi finds 2. Abizi finds 3. Just like that, it's a 1 versus 2.
Now Octane has to try and clutch. He's able to finish one, but the trade comes in. And what is that round? eUnited clutched the 3v5. And now that is 3 first bloods for 100 Thieves, but only 1 round win. This is like what plagued them at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we'll see what Abizi does here. I don't know if there was just a push that came on out. I mean, it was one gunfight after one gunfight, 1 by 1. He's able to heal throughout it. Yeah, I mean, Slasher gets caught, and then Enable challenges, and then Priesta challenges. What? I mean, Crowder talked about it on a hot mic, right? When you're going to go, everybody go together. Get those trades when you have numbers.
Especially in this title. Like, in each of those, he's basically able to pop back to full before he engages, but what a play from Abizi, now out to 5 and 3. Wasn't that 100 Thieves who early in the title was always the first bloods and they'd throw away rounds?
So his mid-round decisions. Well, this is what Slasher did last time, but look at the push from Abizi and Pristini all the way in the back.
They're going to have no idea.
Yeah, and Slasher's going to have no idea as well, but, well, 100 Thieves gets aggressive. Placer there for the trade. Bomb planted, a very similar situation. Here's the thing, though. While Slasher is all alone, he's sort of working a flank now. They're not going to know he's there. That's a big gunfight win for Enable, but Slasher gets caught. Abizi with the heads-up play.
And that was another, well, that's 4 in a row first bloods now for 100 Thieves. Now that was traded pretty much instantly, but looks to be another round loss unless Enable can do something spectacular. Not able to do it. aBeZy cuts him down. A 3rd round on the board for eUnited. 4 first bloods for 100 Thieves.
So we've seen the adjustments come in from both defenses. For 100 Thieves, they played around that A bomb side, got a little bit more aggressive, didn't allow eUnited to get the plant. For eUnited, they left Slasher on the island. aBeZy and Pristini pushed on through towards that A site, trapped the guys at B. Had the heads-up play to really just know Slasher was watching the flank. So
I thought after Enable won that gunfight, they had a good chance in the round, but Slasher died
got caught,
basically the exact instant.
Well, it's one of those things where if Slasher isn't found, he's sort of pinching the pinch.
Flanking the flank?
Yeah, he's flanking the flank, and then he has an idea. He can check the bomb. Enable can play his life, plus he has a nade. But aBeZy, heads-up play from him.
Yep, they sniff it out. Now 3 rounds away from a 2-0 edge in this series. Priesta gets caught mid-map. That's the first blood for eUnited. Nice play by Pristini. Enable backs out with his life, but the full rotation now went from eUnited over to the A site. At the same time, 100 Thieves rotating towards B. This should be a free bomb plant for eUnited based on the timing.
Yeah, let's see. All right, so Kenny's going to spot this. Does have an ICR. Can he catch the bomb planter? That's Pristini. Has to get off of it. Gets right back on it, though. Nade in, though, from Slasher. Is that going to give him time? That's bomb down. So Kenny just rotating back, just getting shots in. Stops the bomb planter.
I thought the timing they'd be able to get it down, but Kenny got there just in the nick of time to disrupt. And now a much different round as the bomb doesn't get planted.
But aBeZy, again, really the difference maker throughout these last couple of rounds. Able to give them the numbers. Simp able to win on one-on-one against Enable. Still, though, the clock doesn't matter. Slasher trying to stay alive 1 versus 2. He's going to get flanked.
Another round to eUnited. They're able to keep it together despite the bomb plant not going through. I think you nailed it. aBeZy wins another big one.
It's a map, too. I mean, I even remember seeing this between 100 Thieves and Optic at London, where I remember Optic specifically, they really isolated Priesta inside that middle tunnel. They found a lot of first bloods there where he was all alone, and we just saw it right there. He's alone, they find the first blood. That really opens the map. There's so many different ways you can go through that middle tunnel, and, well, 100 Thieves has to group on up.
Well, middle tunnel's a lot less scary of a place now that you don't get a grab slam within the game, right?
Exactly.
It used to be terrifying because every specialist weapon could dominate there, whether it was a Tempest, grab slam, but the rules have changed. A much different section of the map. Pristini, who was brilliant with those frag grenades last week, hit marker, but no kill for him. Is Flak on his target. Slasher now with his 4th first blood in the game. Can they turn this one into a win?
Yeah, they're able to catch Pristini out. They're pushing up. They're not going to plant this bomb. Cluster in, though. They continue. They have to be careful. aBeZy, he's trying to pinch, but Octane sniffs him out. So now 5 versus 2. Much cleaner rotation from 100 Thieves. And again, you're seeing when they play together a little bit more compact, they have successful rounds.
They've already thrown away a 3v5, or sorry, 5v3 for their side. You don't want to have it happen again. Octane, though, seals the deal with the frag grenade. Clayster, last man up. He's 300 off streaks at 9-2. Rebounding after a lackluster map 1. He has taken over this search and destroy. And it's huge for him to have a performance like this because your superstar and Simp is sitting at 1-6. So Clayster's really stepped up in that role here in the search. Well, him and aBeZy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Clayster really early in the rounds, and then aBeZy towards his back half of the game. Priesta, I don't know if he's in a push on one-on-one, but you'll see. He's just watching both of these doors. Yeah, Clay's just going to stay alive.
Yep, just keep playing towards the streaks. You got a big advantage here at 4-2.
All right, let's see what 100 Thieves does differently now. Are they going to send Priesta on his lonesome on the island inside that middle ship?
Best play goes to Octane. Eliminates the guy that's really been a thorn in their side. A little bit of a wall bang there, I think, at the tail end of it through the box, but he's able to eliminate aBeZy. As they've now got to rip off 4 rounds. United just need 2 more here to take it. But like I said, let's see what they do. Do they mix it up? It looks like they're going for a full-on A stack, an aggressive and maybe blind counter. They might be able to isolate Arcides. He's the lone man here. Does he get caught?
And well, they're going to know something's up here soon. RC's is just going to run away. Like all the map pressure, they know that they're just 5 stacking A. Bombs already being planted. The reason they know this, BZ and Simp just pushed up that middle tunnel, saw absolutely nothing. So now a 5 versus 5 retake situation.
And now they're all flooding through. The fact that he's able to get one, huge for Pristini, considering the push that was coming in. And then RC's and a BZ stepping up in the back line. 1 player left now for 100 Thieves. It's Slasher. He's gunned. Arcides does the dirty work as he picks up 2. And eUnited now just 1 round away.
Great awareness from eUnited, though, right? Like, a lot of teams may hesitate as they plant towards that site. They see nobody middle tunnel. They're probably, you know, peeking both the windows towards that B site, but they immediately go for it. They just plant the bomb, and will they catch 100 Thieves off guard? If they wait a couple of seconds, allow 100 Thieves to maybe work the flank, rotate on back, maybe that's when they get caught.
Yeah, they might get mid-tunnel control, might get shots at the bomb planter, might make that a lot messier than it is. Instead, it's a very, very clean round. 18 kills combined now for BZ and Clayster. Clayster still just 300 off streaks. Wasn't involved too much in the last round. 100 Thieves looking for an opening. And it looks like it's going to be a mid to B hit. Clayster playing very far back. Calling out the push now as his teammates start to rotate. 100 Thieves, the guy watching tunnel, I believe is going to be Priesta. They might be able to isolate him yet again as it's a 2-on-1, but the fact that he's able to get, sorry, it was a 3-on-1, but he got 1 kill and stayed up.
Yeah, he's able to stay alive. Now, they have to be careful, though. The bomb's being planted. Arcides, if he takes a couple of shots. All right, so that player's going to get out alive. Enable, bomb planted. He's gone. Kenny right on the other side, able to find another kill. A BZ, then he's going to get caught. There's the trade from Priesta.
He tries to just snap in pre-fire, but a little too weak to get it done. Simp will be the last man standing. Takes out Priesta, but only 20 seconds to work with. Takes out another, but goes off the map in the process. Takes 2 with him. But 100 Thieves chipping away at the lead.
Well, we saw this last week with 100 Thieves. I don't know what it is, if someone's calling different early in the rounds, if someone's calling later in the rounds when we go into deficit. But a lot of the times, at least it was a trend to me, when that enemy team hit 5 for 100 Thieves, it felt like there was a little bit more free flow for 100 Thieves. They just sort of went for it, challenged a little bit more gunfights, didn't play around the strategies. The key guy for me was Kenny, right? Like, he was just flying around. I think it was on this map against Denial where he just found multi-kill after multi-kill.
Is it a fine balance between maybe overthinking stuff and maybe not enough strategy? Just trying to find a happy medium?
Yeah, and then, Octane's able to find 2. Kenny hits a snipe as well. Should be a clean round, or is it? Are they going to throw another lead away? But Enable's able to get that trade. Now RC's a lone man left.
In a very, very tough spot. He does get 1. He's able to get away. They're chasing him. He runs out of ammo. Somehow RC's hit to 2 HP, but away with his life. Now a chance to clutch to the 1 versus 3. They line up for a moment, but Kenny gets the final laugh. 100
scary.
Thieves still up. Yeah, that was very close to what? It was a 3v5, and then that was, a 2v5 after they got, the 2 kills with an 8 and the snipe. But God, it feels like there are moments where it should be very, very clean, and it's not. But nice little Kobe over the top there from Octane.
Yeah, able to catch them off guard. A little bit of a blind counter. Once again, you had the 5 stack from 100 Thieves. And I imagine eUnited was thinking they're not going to go back to that. We just had a free bomb planted at B. They won't do the same thing, but they do. See now, can 100 Thieves win an offense?
You're going to have 3 players on defense this time from eUnited. They're looking to be very aggressive inside of mid-tunnel. Octane gets some information. At least on one of the players from eUnited, he's got Paladin out. But for now, the bomb at a standstill as they're looking for an opening.
Does eUnited find the opening? BZ and Simp might have found it. They're pushing on up. But it's Enable. He gets taken down. The 1 versus 2 is there. Now it's Octane alone with this pistol. Has to wait for Slasher. But they're going to try to isolate him. They're going to try to find this kill. Can he at least get 1? Goes for the shot melee. Doesn't. A BZ and Simp find the opening. And, well, that's going to be the game as well as eUnited close out the final round.
The best search team in the game, able to take the search. And on the other side of the stage, your London champs, down 0-2.
And that's what we talk about. Going in a hole in search and destroy, it is just so difficult because a round like that can happen where they find an opening.
100 Thieves continue to put themselves in holes and not able to battle out of it this time. But the series itself as a whole, down 0-2, can they fight back?
The Call of Duty World League is presented by PlayStation 4, the official platform of the CWL, Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the CWL, and Republic of Gamers, the official monitor of the CWL.
Game Fuel. Level up the game.
Welcome back to eUnited 100 Thieves. eUnited firmly in control of this series, but the mode that they struggled the most against 100 Thieves in London was control. They got 3-0, 3-0'd, but it was all on Gridlock. This time we're headed to Arsenal, but before we get there, let's take a look at the scuff play of the game. It's going to be the final round, Joe. What did you see?
Yeah, just watch arrows number 2 and 4. It's Sip and Abizi. They find the opening. You have a bit of a 2-3 split here from 100 Thieves. 2 guys towards B, 3 towards A. Yeah, and Enable, he's going to pick up the flank. The problem, he doesn't finish the first kill. Simp, Abizi, Glacier, they're going to get aggressive on Octane. They know he's here alone based off their last push. And, well, that's going to basically close out the round, because then 100 Thieves, they have to scramble, and, well, they scramble right into eUnited.
Were you surprised that they had no eyes on mid-tunnel? They changed it up because Priesta got caught maybe earlier in that game, because he was kind of your lone guy on offense and was sort of watching that type of push.
Yeah, I mean, at times, 100 Thieves would push on through it, but I think they just sort of took a gamble. And I think Enable was trying to watch two things. While Octane's up top, in heaven, right, that heaven area, he's watching that top catwalk. He doesn't see bottom catwalk. For Enable, he has a bit of a 50-50. He has to watch low catwalk because we've seen teams push that from time to time to find the opening, and then mid-tunnel on the flank. So I think he just caught. He's looking one way. The push comes through.
It's like the perfect push.
Yeah,
the
50-50 doesn't go his way.
Well, Arsenal control up next, and 100 Thieves' chance to fight back into this particular series. But are you a little bit worried, maybe with what you've seen from 100 Thieves over the course of the last week in this?
Hasn't been the best, right? Hasn't been the cleanest. I mean, they got wins, but I mean, just a couple of series that stick out to me. Like Denial had a couple opportunities to take advantage of their mistakes, didn't. Envy did. I know games 1 and 2, they blow a big hardpoint lead. They blow a 5-1 search and destroy lead. I don't know if it's teams are trying to figure out 100 Thieves a little bit more. If 100 Thieves are trying to switch things up, get away from their game. I don't know, but they've gotten the wins. They're 3-0, but it hasn't been the dominance.
They performed better than LG did after a win.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, that's not difficult to do, yeah.
Well, right into the capture is 100 Thieves. One bit of progress already through. They've got 3 players stacked inside. One watching vent, one watching the flank. eUnited trying to come in for this next push. They're going to build it through window. Are they going to be able to contest? Are they even going to go for it? They're not going to get in.
Just playing around kills right now. Yeah, they're just trying to trap them on in. It's similar to what we see in Gridlock, right? That defensive team, they'll give up one site, but they'll take a lot of map control, find all of those kills, and just try to play around that. Make it so difficult for 100 Thieves to have a 5-man push towards this site. That's exactly what's going on, just trying to stagger the pushes.
Yeah, a lot of similarities, I think, between this and Gridlock for sure. 1 life advantage, 400 Thieves, but pushed up into their top steps. This is going to be at number 6. It's Pristini. Wins a nice gunfight, but the trade instantly through. Now we'll hop to Kenny's POV, who's on the hunt towards the eUnited spawn. And I believe that's Pristini that's trying to sniff this out. He knows something's up. Kenny hears him. Kenny gets the kill. Now maybe a chance to push through to the flank.
Yeah,
for
watch
eUnited.
Easy and Simp. Again, the Tiny Terror is getting aggressive on the opposite side of the map. But 100 Thieves is going to know something up. There's not a lot of resistance towards this B site, but here comes the pinch. Octane, he's going to get taken down. Slasher, he's going to get taken down as well. And well, that's going to be all the kills that go the way of eUnited. I got a little bit worried, right? When you're 100 Thieves, you get that far pushed up, you're like, where are they, right? And well, sooner or later, you're going to turn around. But they find the timing, they get the kills. Yeah, and now just a minute left for 100 Thieves.
You get the timing before they're able to get any progress, too. So they were very close to getting at least that first tick in. They're not able to do it. We'll see if that is important down the stretch or if it really is just going to come down to these lives. Octane will be able to take out a BZ. As they're building this next flood in, they've really got kind of 2 cracks at this. They've got complete inner lab control and artillery side control. Clayster's POV is he's just kind of watching the cross. They've got to get through Clay. They try to do it with a stun. He's able to slide out. A BZ then picks it up, and a brilliant bit of footwork there from a BZ as he gets 2. Now 9-9 in the lives department, but sub 30 seconds on the clock. 2 players from 100 Thieves still pushed up, but as Priesthood drops, it puts Slasher on an island. Slasher gets killed as well, and now you just kind of, it's desperation time. 100 Thieves has to flood.
Yeah, Enable's able to win a gunfight, though. But the pressure at the front slowed down. Pristini finds one. Can Enable find anything else? No, that's 3 lives left. 5 versus 3. But can 100 Thieves even get there to contest the point? You have a couple of ICRs watching over it. Nope, round 1 to eUnited.
They just did something they were not able to do at London.
Yeah,
get a control round win against 100 Thieves. I know it's a different map, but it's still got to be something to feel good about. I mean, you take a hard point off them, which you weren't able to do. You take a control round off them, which you weren't able to do. You still show that you're the better search and destroy team. So yeah, as much as we've talked about maybe a loss for 100 Thieves would be good, reality check, I think, yeah, absolutely. Like the desk was saying with Nameless, like this could be a great confidence builder for eUnited.
It just comes down to if these two play in a winner's final Sunday or, you know, loser's final, a grand final on Sunday. In the back of your mind, eUnited knows, okay, we've beaten them before, we can do it again. Where they don't win this, it's sort of like, we've lost 3 games in a row to these guys. I don't like playing these guys. We've heard Clayster talk about it. Like, they get on our nerves. But instead, if they're able to close this out, it could be huge for them.
Well, the opening defense, good for 100 Thieves, as 3 kills go their way. The push towards B does nothing. Slasher picking them apart with an ICR as he's on 3 kills in a row. Simp, though, has locked down Vince as he takes out Octane, just waiting for his teammates to develop the next push, but Slasher keeps cutting him down. Still a ways to go to streaks, 400 off, but as we keep an eye on the next eUnited push, we'll check back with him and see how much more progression he can get.
Yeah, and Sim's just been alive in Vents for so long, waiting for his team to get pushed up. Finally, they do. But now Priest is starting to work the flank. Pristini, he's able to find him. So, progression being made, but 100 Thieves setting up a pinch.
God, the time we hopped off a Slasher, he went from basically that posted up in statue to the flank in their lobby.
Well, and that one-on-one for Kenny is so important because that's going to open up window, and that just changes the setup for eUnited. It opens up another angle where their push can get broken, and it does as eUnited, or sorry, 100 Thieves, and now you have Slasher 50 away from streaks.
Can he get this streak? And can they get the flawless hold here? Just one tick of progress is all eUnited has managed to earn. Yes, they had a nice defensive hold, but it has been much more impressive from 100 Thieves thus far. Abisi comes soaring in over the top.
Slasher find it. Slasher doesn't find the streaks. Big kill. Kenny, though, he's able to stay alive. 2 players inside A still. It's still going to be going up pretty slow. The reinforcements are coming, though.
So if the lives are square, do you try to get in one more time or just try to trap them right now if you're 100
Yeah,
Thieves?
looks like they're just going to try to trap them. Maybe it's some map control. You have Enable. Slasher starting to work the window side, and after that first kill, yeah, that's going to be the opening.
That's got to be tough, though, if you're 100 Thieves, because you're so close to closing them out right there. You're so close to getting streaks on Slasher. You lose the streaks. You lose the point. Maybe a big moment for eUnited within this offense.
Yeah, and Simp is just playing his life so well this round. We saw him do it inside Vents. Then after he captures A, he's able to find 3 kills. Abisi, if he has any other weapon there, probably finds 1 or 2. Instead has the saw, gets caught. Now 30 seconds to work with.
You've almost got TAC 5. You almost got War Machine. You almost have Tempest.
Starting to work the flank. Simp going around.
Can he make a play? 10 seconds on the clock. Priest able to gun him, but 2 are going to drop. Now RC's only 150 off his streaks.
He might just play around him. He might not even go. TAC 5's in. He's going to use the TAC 5 to his advantage. And well, he's alive. So 100 Thieves get the round, but RC's 50 points away.
Yeah, it's tough because he's the one guy that probably had the best chance to contest, but you just got to play for the streaks at that point. But also, you see the TAC 5 Colts, you think they're going for it, and then they just can't get in. But if they end up burning the streaks, maybe not the biggest deal.
And you know, it's a frustrating gunfight, too, for Enable, right? Get him down to 8 HP after he's got 200. Take those damn trauma kits.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. So consumer trauma kit, thanks a lot. That's the first thing I thought of. Oh, I headshot you with a sniper. Oh, you're full health already? Sick. For those of you that don't play Blackout, that probably made no sense. Sorry. 1-1. We'll be on RC's POV as he's so close to these streaks.
Gotta be careful, too. The push is coming here.
They got TAC 5 as well.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to Tempest it. I'll tell you what can counter it. Tell you what can counter it. It'll be the Tempest. He hits the shot. He gets the first streak. Tries to flick. Not able to do it. Kenny makes him pay. But at least you get the lightning. War Machine going to come out from Slasher.
Oh, that's
trying to back him up into lobby. Lightning strike called in instantly. Doesn't come up with much. Slasher still stays up until Simp able to get. Simp actually gets a second behind that as well. Brilliant play from him to make sure no progress at B. Enable still set up on A. Well, as soon as I say that, though, Clayster able to shut him down.
Then you just have all this map pressure. Simp finds 2 kills. And yeah, there's 50 seconds left, but that clock is going to move quick.
Simp was so good in the map 1, having another map here, sitting right around double positive.
And well, it was Slasher in map 1 who had a pretty solid performance, and right now he's 18-10, and it just feels like every time he's in the kill feed, he's finding multiples.
2 kills should be the opening to get into the site, but Slasher will get caught as he tries to move out towards artillery.
Open up window.
They're just going to 4-stack this, try to get this going as quickly as possible. They'll have a minute 40 to work with.
Trying to catch Slasher out. RC's behind him. I don't think he's going to know it. Oh, that timing. Slasher's right there. There we go.
Hurt him.
Okay. So now they can try to spawn kill Slasher a little bit. We're still trying to find kills inside of A. While they're able to do so, give them the life advantage.
And Simp still has his War Machine. Slasher already exhausted his. Priesta not having the greatest map, still has, well, he's very close to the grab slam, but at 8-16, not getting there quickly. Now 1 kill away from getting it. He's actually ahead of aBeZy a bit.
Yeah, so he's obviously having a solid map, like a decent map.
Must have the damage and the assist there. I was about to say aBeZy has the edge, and I looked at the actual meter. I was like, oh, never mind.
I was thinking the same thing.
KD doesn't tell the whole story. 5 in a row now for Kenny. Tries the 180 onto Clayster, but Clayster will shut it down. 3 kills in the kill feed now for eUnited. Octane and Enable, though, trying to push up the map. Split right between them is going to be Pristini. He catches a timing. Gets one. Nice little slide off the ledge to get a second. Challenges Slasher as well. Pristini finding everything. That's a massive moment to scatter the push of 100 Thieves, and now they've got 20 seconds and find themselves in a similar spot to round 1.
Lightning in from Kenny. What is he able to connect with? Able to find one on Pristini. Enable finds the second. 5 versus 5. aBeZy, though, he stays aggressive. Tries to stay pushed up. Priest able to catch him out. 7 seconds, he has grapple. He's going to try to fly on in. They're ready for it. Doesn't connect. It doesn't. The distance, they stay away from it. Heads up play from eUnited. Just 1 player left. They win the round.
What a great job playing the spread. The grab slam hits nothing, and they hold on defensively. 2 rounds that are so tight down the stretch for 100 Thieves on offense, but they can't quite get it done. This play from Pristini at the tail end of it, though, so big.
Yeah, and he's on a bit of a streak here. Having another great game for Pristini. I just think it's so important for eUnited. I've always said, like, when you talk about their success in a tournament, to me it's always come down to the Twins, and, well, they're showing it right here.
1 more round for eUnited to close this out in a 3-0 that I don't think anybody expected. A little bit of friendly fire, but it'll heal up and the push will keep coming. Slasher hit the 14 and just able to get out with his life. But Arcity's ready with the ICR, and now they've got this stack on B. How much progress can they get before the tidal wave? That is 100 Thieves start to push on forward. Very close to getting the second. If they can get this entire point, will that be close to sealing the game? It's almost there. 100 Thieves trying to get in. aBeZy pushing out the other side. Priest is going to drop, and they get it. The harder of the 2 points already locked down. Now all their focus can be shifted to A. They've got a 5-life advantage. Grab slam ready in the win. 225 off streaks as aBeZy. eUnited can close it out here, Joe.
Yeah, he's just trying to set this up. He's in a spot for information, and now he's going to go able to connect with 2. There's streaks as well.
That's game. That's game. That is ball game. eUnited, a 3-0 over your London champs. Improvement on improvement. They get over the hump for the team that plagued them in London. What a win. What a performance. And maybe what a wake-up call for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and you saw Clay giving gas to Pristini, man. Pristini really had a great series, a great match overall for eUnited to be able to take 2 respawns away from 100 Thieves. I mean, for 100 Thieves, your goal is the #1 seed, and that's just it's a game or 2 back now. You're hoping for some help from some other teams in the league, but the way eUnited is playing right now, I don't know if that's going to happen. You know, we just saw Optic go 7-0. We might have eUnited go 7-0 the way they're playing.
Did you expect eUnited to maybe get this good this quickly once Simp was like an addition to the team?
This quickly? I don't think so. Like, I knew they had the potential to be this good because aBeZy and Simp, if they were able to figure out the solid duo, the way they can work together, I think that was maybe a bit of difficulty. I was a little bit nervous about, but man, they've figured it out and they look dangerous.
How blown away are you by this being a 3-0 to eUnited?
I'm a little bit blown away. I had eUnited winning this series. Okay. Again, just because there's a lot more motivation for eUnited to do it. I figured they were going to come out a little bit more fire.
More fire, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I thought eUnited was going to take it, but this way, didn't think it was going to happen.
Well, speaking of fire, Mr. Fire himself, we've got Clayster on stage with your PlayStation instant reaction.
Thank you, Clint. How does that revenge over 100 Thieves feel?
It feels good, but it's a league match. We wanted that to happen in a tournament.
Fair enough. Were you expecting a 3-0 like that?
Definitely not. I mean, 100 Thieves, I've said this before, I mean, they're in that S tier of teams, and they're a team that, just won the last event. They've got the best teamwork. They have some of the best gun skills. So, I mean, it's one of those things like, hey, we ended up coming out with a win. I wasn't expecting a 3-0, but that just means that the practice we put in since London, it's working.
So after a victory like that, what are we going to see from eUnited at Anaheim?
I mean, hopefully we get a first place. I mean, I've been hunting for one for a couple days now, and in terms of that series, though, honestly, I'm so proud of Preston and the way he played. I'm proud of the whole team, but Preston really stepped it up, and so massive shouts to Prestini for playing like the animal we all know he can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been your PlayStation Instant Reaction. Back over to Katie on the desk.
Couple days or a lot of days, but it doesn't matter right now because they did it eUnited, getting their revenge on 100 Thieves in a commanding fashion, 3-0 to finish out the day. And I think a couple of us said on the desk here that we were leaning toward EU, but I don't think any of us quite expected, Pac-Man, that it was going to be that strong.
I didn't know it was going to be 3-0, but I just had a feeling with the way that 100 Thieves was playing coming into this week and how much the fire that I knew United had for this match. I just had a feeling that they'd be able to take it. And 100 Thieves was due for a loss at this point, too. So, great. Well played to United for sure. Prestini went off.
Yeah, that was
series.
what Nameless said. He said it needed to be Prestini and Arcides, and both of those guys played unbelievable, especially Prestini. We heard Clayster in that interview. He was doing absolutely unbelievable things that I just don't see coming out of him. He's like 29-10 that first map, and in that control, we saw him just being a nuisance in their base is definitely something that he wasn't doing before, just playing his life really well. We always talked about him just giving his life up, but he definitely turned that series around and was a completely different player that series.
Now, Nameless, yes, United played extremely well, but what do you think on the side of 100T kind of caused that slide into a 3-0?
I think United was just on point.
Yeah.
Like, I think they just brought it to them. I think 100 Thieves have been coasting since CWL London.
Do you think it's because they're coasting, though?
Yeah, it could possibly be that, right? Like, maybe not making as many improvements, and on the other hand, we see United making plenty of improvements, right? Like, they didn't win a single respawn against 100 Thieves at the last tournament, and here they win 2, 1 in 3. So I think that's more so just United getting a lot better. I don't want to take any credit away from them at all. I think they just played a fantastic series, and 100 Thieves have been on cruise control.
Yep. All right, let's pull up our series layout to see, again, just how dominant that win was there from United. You can see on your screen. And, I mean, really, every single one, like, yeah, there was kind of a comeback from 100T in that first S&D, but not nearly enough to get a win.
Couldn't believe it. 100 Thieves got 7 first bloods in that S&D and only pulled out 4 rounds. Especially on a map like Payload, if you're starting off a 4v5, they were basically just taking tunnel control every single time. And Abizi and Simp, they just always found this opening, especially in that last round, 5-4. They just found that opening at the very end to go through that small room and just be a nuisance in their base. And that's something that we were talking about, is just them two running around, just causing mayhem is insane. And then it's usually when they're running around in a pack is when that's usually how they start. And when the game's finishing, they usually have Clay, who's just going to be an island player, just doing absolutely just like that. And then even in that S&D, he was like 9-2 in the first couple of rounds, and then Abizi just took over from there.
That's what I was going to say. Like, they'll be together, and they'll, like, open up the map and get, like, the first 1 or 2 kills, and then Clay will just come out of nowhere and pop a 2-piece. We saw it in that very first round where he got that 3v1 victory, and then didn't have enough time, but Clay is really good at feeding off these guys, and the chemistry's there, and it led to that victory.
United's mid-round adjustments are way better than 100 Thieves in Search and Destroy. With those first bloods, you should close out those rounds, but the way that United was playing the late round situations, they always had each other's back, even though they were down numbers, and it led to 2 pieces from certain players and so many people picking up free kills on the map. We saw RCs get free kills on guys trying to flank Prestini when he was watching the doorway. Like, those little adjustments that 100 Thieves wasn't making cost him that map. Yeah, we should also talk about that map 1 a little bit. Kind of, Merc was talking about during the cast, hills 2 and 3 are so bad for 100 Thieves, especially hill number 3. United got essentially 120 seconds on that hill both times, and it was because Simp got to showers, and anytime players got near them, he would just gun them. Like, they were challenging him when he had the advantageous position, and he would just win it every single time. They were building up those streaks, and we even saw Prestini in there just going off, and when they went to the listening, they were completely aware of every single pinch. They knew what 100 Thieves' plan was, and that's just because they were there earlier. So I think 100 Thieves need to go back and reevaluate the way that they play Gridlock and maybe start to try to prioritize that third hill because it's costing them in the end.
Yep. All right, let's talk about our Astro MVP speculation for the day, and that is going to be Metals from Heretics, who played out of his mind for his team today to be able to help them get that win to end their losing streak in these 2 weeks of Division B.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Metals is my MVP for the simple fact that he was putting on an absolute show, but we know what we're gonna get out of this guy. But Methods is Sick is the reason why he played so well. He was he was consistent throughout this entire series. So Metals was able to run around and do what he needs to do and not do anything more. So it was really good to see Methods is Sick step up because we were calling him out before the series. But having 14 kills in that last S&D was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, this was a huge win for Heretics, for their morale to, validate them going back to this role swap. And I think him stepping up in that game 5, he deserves the MVP for today. But I will say, I wish we sort of were able to give a dual MVP because Prasini deserves a lot of praise as well. Both those guys today were extremely standout in their performance, and they turned it around for their team. And it was just huge for both these teams.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely players, I think, on all of these teams. And again, Prasini absolutely being one of them who just were standout players, to your point. But all right, let's move on to our PlayStation damage dealt leaderboard. Again, things are probably going to be a little bit skewed because it's day one, but Temp is still there, so he's going to be just hanging out for a while.
Sweet.
Granted, we've only had one day of week 2, so you know.
I'm actually curious to see how Octane was at number 4. Watching that series, he just didn't have a really good series to me, like the Octane.
It's from both weeks, though.
But you're right, it is. Hugh's still number 1.
Simp's there. Simp's first map damage had to be insane. He was dominating, like challenging cross map with a SOG. Like he saw a guy in front of Broken, and he was at Sushi, and he was like, "Yeah, come here." Challenged him. He had a Maddox, just destroyed him with a SOG. It was crazy. The gunfights he wins, he's so good.
Pac-Man, were you surprised at all to see Kismet sitting up there in 3rd, even though E6 has been struggling the way they have?
No, he's been doing it. He's been doing his thing on the map. It's usually their Maddox play has been inconsistent. He's been pretty good throughout this 2 weeks, so. Kismet's a really good player. They just need to learn how to close out these maps.
Yeah. All right, we are done with day 1. Let's pull up our schedule for tomorrow so you can see how we're going to get things started on Tuesday. But again, if you missed today, you're going to want to go back and watch the VODs because it was very, very exciting. We had some closer matches than we expected and some blowouts that we didn't necessarily expect either. And you can see it again. We'll be kicking things off tomorrow with Denial and Heretics. But on the note of Heretics, they broke their losing streak from last week of Division B by starting this week hot with a 3-2 over Elevate. Elevate took their first loss, and ahead of a tough week, we need to ask, can they regain, or are they going to continue to slide? Reminder, Anaheim's right around the corner, so we want to see you there. But the big story of the night, eUnited got their revenge on 100 Thieves in a commanding 3-0 sweep over the CWL London champions. But tomorrow, we start our matches with Denial versus Heretics.